Welcome everybody to We Are Bitcoin! Today we're going to discuss some very interesting ideas from one of the most original voices in the Bitcoin space. Jason Lowery works in the Space Force for the US military and he's currently studying in MIT. He's writing a thesis on how Bitcoin would impact national security, which, once he finishes, he will then give to his superior officers and could end up being the basis of the United States relationship with this amazing cryptographic asset. Jason is studying particularly closely proof of work and why it's such an important part of Bitcoin. In his last interview, he talked a lot about this topic. I strongly recommend watching the whole thing, and you can find the link in the description of this video. It is priceless. To me, it felt like the final jigsaw puzzle finally fall into place. What proof of work really means, and the reason why Bitcoin is so different than any other cryptocurrency that tend to veer towards something like a proof of stake. What we need to understand is that in essence, we are just talking about software. The Bitcoin software, however, has particular qualities unique only to this asset. It allows any of its users to command real life resources, the energy that gets expended by the Bitcoin miners, and they can use that energy to impose physical constraints in the real world to those that are seeking to exploit the system. This is the same mechanism that we use to protect and to claim ownership of everything in life. Think about it. You own your own house because you have a deal with the government. This allows you to exercise real-world power to physically limit people that exploit the system. In this case, if somebody would try to steal your house, you can call the police and they would put him in jail. This is basically the same thing with one major difference. So far, in the entire history of our species, this power was always kinetic, meaning the police would forcefully remove any intruder from your home, and in certain situations they can go as far as to use lethal force. The same dynamic can be seen with countries' borders. If another country tries to exploit the system by taking land that does not belong to them, the other countries will respond with brute force, or in other words, with kinetic energy. Bitcoin is different because it uses the same concept, the use of energy to deter aggressors. But the energy in the Bitcoin ecosystem is not kinetic. You cannot use it to harm directly other entities. It forces other people to consume all their physical resources. To gain power over the network, you need to acquire a lot of computational power, and then you need to sustain it with a constant stream of energy. If you go against the network, all this effort will be in vain and you will end up with nothing. It doesn't matter how rich you are. You will end up poor and without succeeding in harming the network. The fact that every person in the world can use this from anywhere at any time, granting them a large enough amount of power to defend their own property without using lethal force, is remarkable. From a cybersecurity standpoint, this will constitute a before and after situation. Money is the first application of this technology, probably the most important one, but not the only one. We first need to firmly understand that proof of work is what makes the Bitcoin network function. Altcoins and proof of stake cannot make this happen. They lack the ties to the physical world, and as such, they do not grant you real power that we can wield in the physical world. They only use something called abstract power. In history, we can clearly see time and time again when a small group of wealthy people convince another larger group to give up their real-world power over an abstract power, arguing through a moral lens that it is a good idea to do so. It has never, ever ended up well for those who decide to follow them. As individuals, we need the ability to summon this kind of power at will to protect what is most important for us. First is money. But then, there will be other use cases as well. This is why in my channel I give so much attention to layer 2 technologies on top of Bitcoin itself, like the Lightning Network and Rootstock, which is now the only smart contract platform that leverages the power of the biggest and most powerful proof of work network the world has ever seen. And it uses it to be able to develop these new use cases that we need to unleash this powerful technology in order to bring a freer, better and a more fair future. If you're interested in this space, in Bitcoin, in cryptocurrencies in general, please beware. Most of the conversation happening in this space is very shallow. People might tell you proof of stake is better since it consumes less energy. That is, just like we've seen through history, another example of a small group of wealthy people trying to convince us, the larger majority, through a moral lens, that it is a good idea for us to let go of this real-world power in exchange for an abstract power. Truth is that every time people let go of their true power, life does not get better for them. It's actually quite the opposite. This is why we need proof of work. This is why we need Bitcoin, and to build as much as we can on top of this incredible network. With tools like Rootstock and the Lightning Network, it truly is the only way forward, at least to my eyes. I cannot recommend enough that you sit and take the time to watch the full interview with 𝒱𝒁𝓁𝓊𝑒 and follow him on Twitter as well. The thesis he is writing right now could have a profound impact on the relationship that the most powerful country to ever exist will have with the most revolutionary asset in human history. It is probably one of the biggest deals in our industry, and maybe even the world at large. Alright, this has been WeAreBitcoin. I really hope this video was not too technical for you or too long, and that you managed to get some value out of it. Check out the description in this video for a new model. We want to encourage everyone to become an active member of our community, and in exchange you can earn some sats and other perks as well. It is our way of incentivizing everyone to dig a little bit deeper and to keep on learning and growing together. Thank you for joining me in this adventure. Follow us to stay up to date, and I'll see you all in the next one.